Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Dress for Success Cleveland Powerful Women's Group workshop call. And today, this is a very seasonal topic for us to talk about. We are talking about holiday spending and how do we avoid or reduce, I don't know if you can avoid the holiday financial slumps that come around during the holidays. Normally the holidays between November and December have been pretty consistent as far as the time of year when they show up. But also, we live in a world of reality, and we know that you may be planning for holidays, and then there's other things that go up at the same time, your utilities, food, grocery shopping, gas to get around, right? So, it's how do you manage these things to not put yourself in such a tremendous debt? And so we have some incredible guests today. I think we're going to get some fantastic tips. I will let you know that there'll probably still be a couple more people that'll jump on, and I'll just admit them. So to give you that heads up, we have Yvette from Citizens Bank. She has not only been someone who works at Citizens Bank, but she's also been someone who's been involved with Dress for Success Cleveland, particularly. So I'm gonna make sure that she has that opportunity to share with you all, and she's going to share some tips around holiday planning and spending. And then, Markeisha, will you be speaking, or Brendan for Dan?
Yes, so Brendan will be speaking and I'm here, so we're kind of co-ed
Okay.
helping each other. So
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to get started with our first guest speaker, Yvette. And so, Yvette, if you can share a little bit about your background, and then we'll go into what we can do to help ourselves out with these holiday tips.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Well, my name is Yvette, and I work with Citizens Bank. I am a banker there. I have been in the financing world for over 38 years now, and I've done everything from mortgage origination, underwriting, investments. I was a branch manager for 10 years at a large bank. I've done first time home buyer classes and mentoring. So I've done a little bit of everything in my 38-year career. I've also been a graduate that has passed through Dress for Success. And that's why when I hear Dress for Success, I'm like, all right, sign me on. Yeah, it's after hours. That's fine because I believe in giving back. And this is definitely the season for giving. So why wouldn't I? If I could bring a little, tidbit, a lot of these things you might already know, but sometimes we get those aha moments. And that's what, we're about those aha moments because not everybody knows everything. And sometimes a little refresher, resetting um, comes just at the right time, and that's where we're at here today.
Would you want me to share the deck since you're
Yes,
down
please,
from the
because
phone?
I'm
Okay.
doing it from my phone. Good
Good thing
thing I
we
sent
had
it.
right. Good thing we have a plan, right? We knew that sometimes, you have to share decks because things
Yes,
do come up, right?
absolutely.
So let's see. Is this gonna, okay, you probably see that screen. That's not the screen I want you to see. And so you let me know, as far as, when
So
to.
yeah, let's move on. That's just my little son's doggy there.
Oh,
So
it's cute. I thought, I was like, oh, there must be a story with this dog.
yeah, he is. My son is a Marine, so Marines, those are their mascots. So yeah, that's Thunder.
Thunder. That's a cool name. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
so
did you want me to go on to the next
yes,
one, or
yes,
just
yes. We're
okay?
gonna go into the key takeaways. So the key takeaways are there's nothing wrong with thoughtful and creative gifts. Sometimes those are appreciated more because they're more personable. And it's
Hmm.
not something that you can normally just go buy at the store or on Amazon. Um, Also, a lot of people tend to do traveling around this time, with their families and friends. And usually when you fly, if you're able to fly on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, generally those flights tend to be a little cheaper. And that's another way that you can save. Hey, what about those potluck dinners? I don't know about you, but I'm always stuck with all the cooking. And I've come to a realization that I don't have to be Superwoman, that I don't have to be the one that supplies everything for everybody, that sometimes people want to be able to participate and we just assume that we have to carry the whole burden of everything. Since COVID, I'm sure we've all noticed that the prices of food have skyrocketed. And so, if we assign, hey, you can bring a dish, bring a drink, you bring a dessert, even if you're the one that has the main dish or the actual meat, if you eat meat, um, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes those meals and those gatherings taste better when everybody brings a little taste and flair of from their own kitchens or from their nearby store. How
There's a
sometimes they
few people
come
like that.
oh,
Oh
sure, I
man.
baked this. Oh, yeah, I sure
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, take it out the box and put it in a new dish. And then it's like, yeah, I did it. I did it.
Exactly. And that relieves also not only the financial burden, but it also relieves a lot of the emotional and stress of having to put on this big old spread all by yourself.
Yeah. I want to
You know,
pause right there. Yvette, has anyone been like the host of any holiday gatherings for families and felt those pressures?
me.
I can't see anybody's faces, so if anybody can speak, that'd be good. I know
For
I
sure.
have.
Yep, for sure me. And I started, this year it was like, for Thanksgiving, hey, I need you to handle the pies and bring a salad.
Hmm. Yeah.
And, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Because like you said, the price of food definitely has increased for all of us. And so,
Absolutely.
trying to still have a great gathering without having one person foot the whole bill,
Hmm.
whether it be you or maybe even asking the hostess, if they need any kind of support can kind of help because everybody's feeling the strain, from that perspective. So that's a
Absolutely.
very good takeaway.
Absolutely. Um, Tough. Times are tough. We just spoke about that. Budgets are tight, you know. Um, and we always want to show our loved ones a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't want to be limiting yourself and putting, extra stress on yourself and then having to worry about those after holidays or after Christmas woes. So, let's set a budget. There's nothing wrong with setting a budget. The earlier you can do it, the better. Because you can spread out, let's say, okay, I don't want to spend more than X in all the gifts. And you make a list of always the kids. Christmas is about giving for the kids. If there's extra for an adult, amen. If there isn't, oh well. It's about the kids. You get a little cookie thing that I just made for you. Here we go. Happy. Bye. But it's about the kids. So prioritizing is this year I said, you know what? I don't need to go all out for my grandbaby. Half of the time, they just open, boop, throw it to the side, boop, throw it to the side. I remember when I was growing up, it was like there was none of that craziness. One, gifts were not as expensive. There was not these crazy electronics that we have today. I just dated myself, Lord. But anyways, I am a grandmother. Yes, I am. There it is. And my oldest is 40. And I remember they gave me, a little doll or or something like that. And I was happy and I played with that. Nowadays, if we don't have 5, 6, 7, 10 gifts for our kids or our grandkids or whatnot, we feel that we've gypped them. Well, no, because I feel that, yeah, Christmas, we like to give gifts and whatnot, but we need to go back to what the true meaning of Christmas is. And it's, you know, loving, appreciating each other, spending time with each other, and teaching our kids and grandkids that there's more to Christmas than how many gifts are under the tree or how expensive they are. You know, let's go back
Yeah.
to the basics. Let's
Yeah.
make those lists. Let's give me your list, and you might get, depending on how expensive they are, you might get one or two. If they're not that expensive, we might do 3, 4. Just because you put 10 on there, boy, you don't mean you're gonna get no 10. Hello. Santa don't got those pockets that they did before, this crazy COVID. I'm telling you.
Mhm.
And so setting those expectations. So this year, for my grandson, I think if he has 4 gifts from me, it's too much. And my daughter goes, what should I buy him? And I says, you know what? You go crazy every year. Don't. Buy him 2. If there's more than 2, I'm going to go return it. So just 2. Because I saw what he was doing and he wasn't even paying attention. He was just and throwing it to the side. And I just felt that was such a waste. So, and then, we go all out. Then what do? More than likely, if you didn't have a Christmas savings account or something for this, guess what? You're probably charging it.
Yeah.
So, and what's going to happen? Unless you got a 0%, on purchases, and you don't pay that puppy off next month, guess what? You're going to be paying interest. So those gifts cost you more than when you purchase them. Just saying, been doing this too long. So let's move on to the next slide, please.
Okay. I don't know
Oh,
what happened to the deck. So
oh,
I had advanced the page, and then the next thing you know, that page went away. So
oh, no, no
I
worries.
apologize. It's coming back. It's coming back though.
Okay, so the next page, that one. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about pre-holiday savings plan. As I mentioned earlier, most banks nowadays have either a Christmas club or a savings account that you could set a goal for, and money could be swiped from your checking into that savings plan every month. And it could help you budget better. So let's say you don't want to spend more than $200, which today that won't, that's probably will cover 1 or 2 people. You'll need to save about $17 a week. So if you want to set up 12 weeks ahead, that would be 3 months ahead to start saving for the holidays, then it gives you an idea of approximately how much you would need to sock away every week to make that mark. So it goes anywhere from $200 to $1,000. So this is like a good this I got from the pennyhoarder.com. It's a good plan to kind of help you out, and see, how can I budget? Okay, how can I start saving for that budget? You know what I mean? And so this that I got from the Penny Hoarder, I thought was pretty cool. Start your Christmas sinking fund. Any questions or comments about that?
And so this, what you have on this chart, because I just want to make sure. So this is
Yep.
starting 12 weeks
Yep.
just before the holidays. So we're not even talking about starting in January. We're talking about, because a lot of times people won't wake up to realize that the holidays are close until once back to school is
Correct. So
done, right?
this would be if you're one of these, late starters. Obviously, if you start in January, you can even have a nicer Christmas and maybe include, some sort of a vacation fund or whatnot, or just not feel too much of the crunch
Right.
and leaving it for the last minute. So obviously, the earlier you do it is always the best. But if you're one of those procrastinators, here's a 12-week procrastinator crash course. Just saying, I'm trying to
Just
keep it
saying.
real. You know,
Just saying.
any questions regarding this? Nope. Okay, well, let's move
Right.
on to the next. All right. So we already talked about setting a budget, and I kind of gave you an idea. We also talked about setting a holiday spending limit. We talked about making a list. We talked about making presents. Now, what we didn't talk about is sort of being honest. We kind of touch a bit about it, but there's nothing wrong with being honest with yourself and being honest with your loved ones. You know what? Times are tough right now. I'm going to do the very best. I want us to have a good time, come together and share. I can't host the whole ball of wax this year, Either A, can someone else host it if it's really going to be a strain, and I'll just bring, my famous Puerto Rican rice as the dish. You know what I'm saying? My famous Puerto Rican salad, or whatever your favorite, dish is that you're known for that people really enjoy. Same thing with the gifts. You know what? I'm not going to be able to get everything on the list. Just pick, a few, and then I'll see what I can do. And maybe, it'll be just one gift this year. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think that we hold ourselves to this higher standard and we don't want to let anybody down. But I don't think that anybody would want you to be stressing out this way and putting yourself out if they really love you, because it's about spending the time with you, you know? And if they really love you, they'll understand. Kids, might not, depending on their age, they might not understand a lot of it if they're little. But if they're little, guess what? They really don't know. Give them one or two gifts and voila, they're happy. If not, give them candy. That'll always do it. No, just kidding. But that being honest with yourself is important. And because if you're honest with yourself, then you'll be able to be honest with others. Um, Shopping online, that's worked a lot for me, because when you start walking to these stores and they make these displays so attractive, and you're like, oh, hold on, that's 25% off. Oh, that is so cute. Well, you know what? Yeah, I didn't get her much. I'm gonna get this too. And by the time you leave that store, you got everything you came for, hopefully, and then some. Or you didn't come what you get to get. And that's why when they tell you, you get $5 more through Kohl's.com if you pick it up at the store, I say, no, keep your $5. Okay, that $5 is going to cost me $50. No, keep your 5. I don't want to go in there. One, because I don't want to be inconvenienced, and two, because I don't want to be tempted. So because I know myself, I know what kind of trouble I can get myself into, I try and avoid it whenever possible. Tracking your spending, if you're very savvy with like Excel or something like that, you can do that. There's also apps where you can track your expenditures. This is my budget, and then and that kind of can keep you a little bit more accountable. Avoid opening new credit lines or credit cards. Sometimes you go to these stores. That's another reason I don't like to go. Oh, guess what? If you apply for this card today, you get 10 or 15% off your purchase of everything you purchase, and within the next 3 days. No, don't do it. One, it's going to impact your credit. Two, it's going to tempt you to spend more money than you originally had intended to. Ban unnecessary gifts. Talked about that already. Going through, why do these stores put these tempting things by the cash registers? Because you're in line. So guess what? You start messing around. Oh, well, you know what? That's a good one. Boop, there you go. By the time you're heavier, by the time you get to the cashier than when you first got into that line. Price compare. Shop around online, circulars, whatnot. You might get the same gift a lot cheaper somewhere else. Don't just, buy the first thing that you see. And I can't stress enough, set a budget and make a list. Any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I feel like I just got personal up in here with a lot of things, particularly with the standing in those lines, because when it gets to these last few days, you don't have enough time to shop online to expect something to arrive on time for the holidays. So these last, what is it, 12? Is it? No, we're past 12 days. Are we past 12 days? Yeah. We're like
Yeah, I
barely
think
10
so.
days to Christmas. I had to like, let me count on my fingers. And so, yeah, you're going to be standing in line. And then, like you said, all those wraparounds that they have around the cash registers. Here goes some candy because you got a sweet tooth standing there. Oh, you know
Right.
what? I'm thirsty because I've been out all day. Here go, $5 for a water. And the next thing you
Mm-hmm.
know, you probably went in there, like you said, maybe for something that might have cost $20. And next thing you know, you're walking out, you spent $75, $50. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, well, well, I don't even know what I spent it on.
Correct.
So yeah, it
I
got
mean, we
real for
all
me.
know, yeah, we all know what our weaknesses are, what our shortcomings are. You know, we know.
Hmm.
I mean, who are we kidding? It's just trying to avoid the things that would bring those extra temptations as much as possible. We're
Right.
not perfect. Every so often, we're gonna like, oh, well, I really didn't get much for this person, or well, I was only going to spend $30, but I got it on sale, and so I still have another 10 or whatnot. But if you got them what you were there to get them to begin with, and you were fortunate enough to get it at a good, you know, price, well, good for you. That's where that price comparison comes into play. That don't mean you got to still spend that $30, because
Right.
you might not get lucky on the other gift you had to buy, and you had to, didn't get it at the price that you wanted. And so now this is going to kind of like help, cushion that. At
Agreed.
least that's how I, look at it. Not that I'm cheap or nothing, because I'm not, but I've been feeling that crunch big time.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to be a little bit a better steward of my money.
Ultimately, that's what we got to do.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, did I advance too fast?
Nope,
No.
that was it. And season's greetings to all.
Perfect. Well, you definitely kept it real for us, right? And I would say all of those buying emotions that we have,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what happens during the holidays.
Yeah.
We get caught up in the emotions of everything, the hurriedness, and all the emotions, and then we start making all these irrational decisions. Like I said, it got a little personal when you got me up at that cash register event, and I'm like, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I could use some extra pot holders, and you'd be like, what are these, $5? And
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're walking out the door. I always say this, for example, when I go to Target and I'm only going in there for a tube of toothpaste, right? And the next thing I know, I self-scanned myself out $100 and
Yeah.
forgot the toothpaste. So it's
Yeah.
easy. I am a victim too of those emotions and distractions that happen
Yeah.
during this
And they
time.
do it on purpose. That's part of their marketing.
Yep. It's true. It's true. I worked retail, so I know. I know.
Yeah. Good.
Um,
Yes, you wanna do some music?
yeah, let's play some music, right? Okay,
Uh-huh.
let's have some
Glitter it
smells,
all up.
the smells in the store to distract you, the colognes, right? Nobody thought about cologne all year long till you get to Valentine's Day, sweetest day, and then the last 3, 4 days before Christmas because they can't think of anything else to get someone. And then the whole store is spritzed all
Yeah.
around. I know I'm not
Yeah.
alone. So
Mhm.
those are
Pretty
true.
gift sets. Those pretty
The
gift
gift
sets.
sets, right?
The value is $105, but today you can get it for $39.99. It was $39.99 all along. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? Jeez.
So thank you for keeping it real, as we would say, right? When it gets to those shopping things. And so we have Markeisha and Brendan from PNC. So I don't know which one's going to jump in. I could definitely share if you need me to share the screen, or if you want to share the screen on what deck. Because like now we got into our feelings, as we say, right? And now we got to get some science behind this. We got to get some rational behind this and some strategy. So Markeisha or Brendan?
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Brennan Gittens from PNC Bank. I too did have some issues getting on, so I'm on my phone here. I don't have the deck up, but yeah, a little bit about myself. Originally from Brooklyn, New York. Just spent a lot of time after college, as one does, looking at my bank account and thinking I really need to work on this and figure out how I'm gonna get some more money and just like take care of myself and things like that. So that was my personal finance journey. Got me into was in mortgages and then now in banking. So just always just working on finance. I was the person, that one friend that was always telling you how to save, how to do things with your money, just making sure you're getting the most out of it. So I'm glad to be here and be able to share some ideas with you guys. And then Markeisha, I'll let you introduce yourself as well. She did just win some awards recently.
Okay.
Woo woo.
I wasn't expecting that, Brenda. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for sharing.
no problem.
Yes, so and I'm Markeisha Garrett. I'm helping out with Dan today. And happy to be here. I'm a branch manager over in Akron, Ohio. At the Highland Square branch, and I always enjoy doing financial literacies and just talking about some best practices that we can share with each other, because we've all been through different things. So I'm excited. Do you
Still,
have the deck?
yeah. So let me pull this up. Um, this one. Go ahead. I had it up there. All right. All right. I'll put this in presentation mode. Can you all see how to save money on a holiday?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. I'll let you all take it away and let me know when to advance.
Okay, perfect. Yes, just so a lot like I've said, budgeting is so important around this time of the year. I think all the points that Yvette's talked about and that we're going to talk about, I think it always comes down to just mindset, right? If you have the proper mindset, you're going to keep from being tempted. You're going to keep from spending more money on things that you shouldn't be. You already have a plan before the holidays come. So then when the holidays do come, you're ready to spend what you have, spend what you know you're going to spend for the holidays, however many people you're spending for, and things like that. So just getting the right mindset ahead of time, you'll be good to go through the holidays, right? So yeah, the first one again is just budgeting, right? If you could go to the next slide, please, Chris. Perfect. All right, and then through like when you're budgeting, it's just making sure that you have again, just however many people you're shopping for. You don't have to buy everyone a large or expensive present. I think with my wife, we've had Christmases where I've bought her a lot of stuff, and there's been a Christmas where like I wrote her a poem and gave her a nice card, and she loved that one more. So then I'm gonna be giving her more cards and poems and things that are heartfelt. And then she's gonna love it. It's not gonna cost as much, and everybody's happy, right? So
Yeah, Brendan, that's
sure.
that's nice. Let's not give off false information. That will be 100% all the time.
Not
I'm
all
just
the
me-
time, of
I'm just
course,
I'm
of
just
course.
messing with you, Brendan.
I mean, I imagine if I did it 10 years in a row, it might be a problem, right?
Yeah,
So,
there might be a problem. We're just
yeah,
we're just trying to help you out. Okay.
right. Yeah, so things like that. There are creative ways to sort of get out of expensive present giving, especially with your family, friends, people you love. They don't always need something big. Just letting them know you're thinking about them is a really big thing for the holidays, right? So that's a big thing. Next, again with the credit cards, right? A lot of people move to credit cards to buy stuff, and I see a lot of people coming into the bank, and they say, "Well, I need a loan because I don't have enough to pay for my bills." And like, okay, well, what were you spending on? And they're like, well, I have my grandkids. They asked me for something, so I bought them this. Or my kids asked me for this, so I gave them the money. And then they just put themselves in a hole ahead of time. But using credit cards and loans and just financing your way through your bills and through gift giving, it's not going to be the best way, right? If you know things like that are going to come up, right? You got, again, just planning ahead is going to put you in a better spot than saying, okay, well, maybe I'll just find it somewhere else, right? So yeah, credit cards are not going to be the best in that situation. But again, if you have the right mindset and you're saying, okay, I'm going to use my credit cards, and you plan for that, not a problem, right?
I was
And then
I was
oftentimes let's
gonna
say
add.
what was
Yeah, I
that?
was gonna add Brendan. I was gonna add Brendan to that point exactly. Like I just have an example of a client that that's what they do. They use their credit card throughout the year, paying it off every month. Now that takes skill and takes time and budgeting, but at the end of the year around Christmas, they're able to get their Amazon gift cards for Christmas. Then at that point, then they didn't have to spend any money. They just did their regular everyday shopping, their groceries and things like that, and then able to have some sort of income from the credit rewards to buy gifts.
Exactly. Yeah, you stole it right out of my mouth. That's where I was going next. Yeah, definitely. If you're racking up those rewards, it's going to be something a lot better than saying, you're taking the money out of your own pocket, because you already have it stashed up and you can use those funds. So that's a great point. Yeah. And then especially if you're places you shop a lot, like Chris, you said you go to Target, they've got rewards there too. So you can get those points that if you're going there all year anyways, you got some points there. You compare that or put that together with the points on your credit card, and that's going to help you too, right? Just any way you can get extra money to help you out is a good way to go, right? I think we can move on to the next slide there. Oh, I guess I plowed through a few of them already. Maybe the next one,
So move it to the next one, Brendan.
please. And then, oh yeah, perfect here. So something else with anytime you're shopping, yeah, there's a lot of times and a lot of companies that are gonna say there's a big discount for the holidays, Black Friday. But yeah, it was the same exact price that it was before. If there's things that you love and you're watching it, it's gonna be $39.99 on Monday, and then Black Friday's gonna come and it's still $39.99, and it's gonna show like 80% off, but it's the same price, right? So yeah, just like be careful of those things. If you know there's stuff you're gonna buy for people, follow the prices a little bit beforehand. So don't just rush into buying it just because you think it looks like a great deal, because it probably wasn't that price or lower than it was before, right? So if you're shopping ahead of time, you're gonna notice that, and you're gonna be able to budget and plan for that price that's coming up. And then especially if you're going to your favorite places all the time, there might be some cheaper places that you can get the same thing for somewhere else, right? So even especially online, if you're shopping online, you might find a lot of things. There are tools that you can find like the cheapest product. If you're looking at something online, it'll take you to somewhere else where you can get it cheaper. So that would be a great thing to look into as well, right? If we could go to the next slide, please. Perfect. And then, yeah, there's often like for this Christmas, my wife and I, we go back and forth holidays. My family, her family. We're going to her family this year for Christmas, and we have like some 14 plus people to be shopping for. So we decided let's do like a gift exchange instead. Everybody, we're doing it's called White Elephant. If you've done that before, we got it all randomized, so everybody's buying each other a different gift. I want to figure out who's getting who a gift beforehand. I'm gonna make a little game out of it and just have some fun with that. But doing that's gonna help too when you have bigger parties because everybody doesn't need tons of gifts, like you're saying, Yvette. Just a few gifts and just a good time is what it's all about. So you can save a lot of money that way too, doing a gift exchange instead of just buying everybody a present.
I had one tool that I wanted to share, and I'm not for sure if anyone else has heard this. So um, instead of us doing a white elephant, we would draw names, right? And you would get someone a gift. So then you're not buying, 14, 25 gifts for everyone. There's an app, or not an app, I guess it's more like a software or whatever, where you can draw names online. We used to do the old fashioned pass a can around and pick a name out kind of a thing.
Right.
I might be dating myself too. But now, and definitely since the pandemic, I think it's called Draw Names or something like that. Or if you just look up, something for drawing names for the holidays, you literally will enter in the names of everyone who's going to participate. You can establish kind of like a price range. So if you want, you don't want people to get too carried away with the price point, you can start as low as $10 and work your way up. That person can kind of pre-select a couple of items, right? Because sometimes people are like, "Oh yeah, thanks for giving me this gift," and it's like, "I'm never going to use this, and is it going to get regifted?" Right? So at least you can kind of leave some suggestions, and then you're still able to draw a name. You can send the gift to them because during the pandemic, a lot of people didn't get the chance to be in front of each other. So it's another fun way to do gift giving. With I think it's called Draw Names. Or if you just look up the software, it's pretty easy to enter it in. I thought I'd throw that out there.
Sure. Yeah, we're using Elfster, if anybody's heard of that. It's just sounds very similar to what you're saying. People can link in like their Amazon stuff, and then you can choose a gift and set a price and things like that.
Cool.
Oh yeah. I think yeah, went through that part. All right.
So this is saying how to avoid holiday credit hangover.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And let's see where we're at. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
this is more just again the same thing when you're if you're gonna use your credit cards, definitely you don't want to rack up too much on there at a time to where after the holidays you're thinking, why did I give everybody these gifts, right? Like, can I get it back from them and return it or something? It's not going to be worth it at that point. And then like kind of like Yvette was saying, if you have a 0% credit card and you're buying it, maybe it's look good for 12 months, and you have that time, I'd say for something like gifts, it might not be the best thing, but if that's where you're at, paying that down and making sure that you're again have a plan and a mindset to take care of it instead of just letting yourself, roll into next Christmas where you're doing the same thing all over again, but this time you're paying way more interest on everything, right? I did look into it, and companies last year spent over $2 billion in marketing and advertising, right? So imagine if somebody spent $2 billion just to get you to buy stuff, you're probably going to buy that thing, right? That's a lot of money to make you buy something, and so that led consumers to spend over $100 billion on Christmas presents and holiday gift giving and things like that. So yeah, trying to avoid the pressure. I mean, the pressure and weight of $2 billion is gonna move you, but you don't have to buy everything, and then definitely don't put it all on your credit card if it's not something you're planning for or expecting, right? And then the next slide, sort of what we talked about a little bit earlier. When you get those credit card rewards throughout the year, you can use that, and that's going to help you again just for everything in your purchases. There's different options you can redeem, like your points or that cash back for rewards at places you like to shop or places that you're going to get the gifts from.
I would even say too, another great thing to kind of think about when you're talking about budget planning, because I know sometimes you're like, okay, what is my budget for Christmas, right? You can easily go back to maybe like past Christmas expenses and kind of compare and contrast and see what you need to delete out of there or add to and things like that. But I say the easiest thing to help keep yourself true to your budget is having that separate account, and send up automatic transfers to pay yourself to go towards that budget, because it's almost like taxes.
Hmm.
Our paycheck says we're getting paid a certain amount, but we don't bring that home. So if you kind of set up those auto pays on your payday, um, it happens all at the same time. So you kind of set it and forget it, is what I would say. Set it up and forget about it. And then by the end of it, your goal, it's going to be there.
Yeah, I think autopay is great. I've got it set up. It's definitely something that's going to be a huge difference in how you save. And then, especially again, like you're saying, Markeisha, with your payday, if you get paid every 2 weeks, don't set it up for every week. If you feel like that's going to throw you off with your bills, set it up for
Yeah.
every time you get paid. That's going to be the best way to do it.
hmm I mean, I even say to try. I mean, because there's different things. Like I have my savings account where my main checking is, but then I have a savings account that's at a completely different institution because it limits the time that I can get there. It makes me have to really think about it if I really need to have access to it. I know my savings account that's linked with my checking account. I go to it more often than the account that's not linked to my everyday spending. Um, and that's because I don't have online banking access to that account. I don't have a debit card, so it's harder for me to get access to those funds. So when I look at it, sometimes you're thinking like, oh, I know I set this goal for myself, but I keep going back to it. There's so many of my clients that I work with that set these goals up and they keep going back to their savings account. And like, oh, I'm just not doing a great job about it, going about it. But if you kind of try different things, see what works out for you. Sometimes having it at a different institution, sometimes is the best way too, because it doesn't give you that easy access to it. It really makes you think about your purchases.
Hmm. Yeah, you can get a bank account in a completely different state where there's no banks near you.
I know my grandfather, he was a bricklayer, but they have a farm. And I remember he would tell me, I have a bank account for my house, I have a bank account for the business, and I have a bank account for my retirement. And I'm like, why? But when I told, I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. You have all these different accounts. But then it made sense to me in a sense where the way that he does his banking, he knows that he's gonna use certain cards for certain things. And that just keeps him in line. So at the end of the year, he's like, okay, I know I have to pay taxes for my business. Okay, it's already sitting in a savings account, been saving it for the last year, and it's ready to go. He's not stressed out at the end of the year. So I took some pointers from him.
Yes. They all work. I had learned the trick. Now, of course, now these days people don't keep a check register. Do you
hmm
all know what the check register is?
Yes.
But I and this was something that I had learned from someone where when you're talking about on those paydays, and you pretty much, for some jobs you knew what you were going to get paid, each pay period, but she would short herself on her check registry. She might have shorted herself. Okay, I only actually got, $10 less than that or $20 less than that. So that's how
hmm
she was building up her kitty for holidays or a little bit of vacation spending money. So I think Markeisha, you said it's like you just got to try some different things. just to
Find
see,
out.
what works. The credit card, if you got the stable credit card and you're able to earn some points and you're able to redeem for different things, definitely help, whether it's actual items or cards. So you just have to kind of see what works best for you, for sure.
Mhm.
Let's see. I got one more? Let's see.
That
Wait.
one, and I guess I said that one in the beginning too.
Uh-huh. Yep, no, it's good. But then I know we talked about purchasing, but then and Yvette had brought it up too. A lot of people are traveling now. So you figured, the biggest travel times are pretty much between Thanksgiving and, let's call it, New Year's time frame. So whether you need gas, right? So, save up gas cards for that time, right? Or your hotel airline points, start to have a strategy before you get to trying to book your flight 2 days before Thanksgiving, because prices definitely go up, or you're making those type of rash decisions that you didn't want to make. So even for your travel for the holidays, I know we talked a lot about gifting, but get your strategy in place. And I think you said Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the better days to travel, or at least less expensive. And I even heard of actually traveling on the actual holiday as less traffic. So it's just, you got to build a strategy for sure. All right, let's see. Oh, I went back too fast. Oh, the credit card can be a gift too. Oh, y'all need to explain this one.
Yeah, so that's it. Again, if you're using your rewards,
Okay.
you get so when you use those rewards, sometimes instead of like spending $25 for a $25 gift card, you can get like you spend $20 and you'll get $25 gift card, things like that. So you get a lot of different discounts in your credit card rewards. So always checking like different places, making sure that you're getting the best deal on what you're getting.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think that's exactly how my husband and I budget for vacations is we use our credit card throughout the year. And at that time, we usually have like between $300-400 in cash back because we've been using it for gas or using it for groceries, things we have to do every day, and we're getting cash back for that. And that's just our extra spending money. So being intentional when it comes to your everyday budget on what you have to spend for groceries, what you have to spend on gas can actually reward you and get you some cash back or points or however you like to be rewarded.
Hmm. Okay. And so these were the contacts. I had the other screen I thought was pretty good. Let me I think I have it up. Just have to think how I can get to it. Okay. All right. Can you all see this? It says the 12 scams of Christmas to avoid.
Oh yes,
Yes.
this is so important, especially around this time of year. We see it every day in the branches.
Hmm.
So I
Yes.
didn't know which one wanted to. Brendan, you're gonna kind of start off with some of these.
Yeah, I can go through a few. Yeah, so there's like holiday e-cards is the first one we have here. It's a big thing. There's a lot of websites now where if you mail somebody a gift, you can send them a digital card. But sometimes it can be malware and somebody's just trying to hack into your computer, get your personal information. So just be aware of anything that you're clicking on that's sent to you from somebody you don't know or something that's looks out of the way. I say, don't click on any links, don't open anything that seems like it could be a little suspicious, right? Another one is seasonal jobs. So people are putting up fake job postings, right? It might sound too good to be true, and it probably is, right? So stay away from those because again, they're going to ask you for the information a real job would ask you for, but then they're going to take all your information, steal that. They can sell it on the dark web and do all sorts of things and ruin your credit, ruin your life. It'll take a lot to get back from that, right? But so avoid that too. More recently, There's the charging stations. People are putting devices in the charging stations. So when you're at the public free charging stations, definitely, I'd say maybe only use that in an emergency, but otherwise don't just hang around there charging your phone because, again, they're going to get your information from your phone. They can get your banking information and other personal things as well, right?
Yeah.
This one I feel like is the most popular. The fake shipping delivery notification emails that say we lost your package or it's somewhere. Yeah, everybody's gotten one of those emails, I'm sure. And it's like, I didn't order anything with DHL. I don't know why I'm getting an email about a lost package. Like, it has nothing to do with me. But yeah, don't click on those. If you know you didn't order anything, then there's no package missing, right? If you didn't order anything international, you're probably not going to get anything with DHL, right? So just always just look at everything, look it over twice if you're unsure, because there's always going to be something off. The font's going to be off, or the details are going to be off. It might be like poor grammar, so look out for that as well. Okay. Something I've actually found online is that scammers would purposefully use poor grammar because they feel that if somebody were to read that and still go forward with it, that they'd be more likely to get scammed, right? So definitely look out for that. Because that's it. They're spending their time and money trying to scam you. You gotta be careful. Um, the next few, yeah, bogus websites. Same thing. There's some now that they'll send you a link that looks basically copy and paste of what a real website is. So you might get like banking email notification, or it could be anything, right? And then just a font. There'll be one letter that's a different font. So that everything looks good, but then one letter is a different font. So if you get an email and they're saying, "Oh, like $10,000 was withdrawn from your bank account" or something, just go to your own app, go to log into your own screen instead of using whatever link that was provided to you in that email. Okay. The next one after that, paying with gift cards. So there's a lot of scams out there where your computer might get messed up and people are calling you and saying, hey, well, if you go to Target that's down the road from you and buy some Apple gift cards, you can give that to us as payment to cover the cost of fixing this or whatever it is. Don't do that. And anybody's asking you to pay for something with gift cards, it's not legitimate, right? There's even scams with the IRS where they're asking for gift cards. The IRS would never ask you for a gift card. Okay, so don't do that either. And then
And Brendan, before you move on
yes,
to the next one, and I don't know if it's on here, something that just has popped up in the news about a different type of gift card
or
scam. Um, and I'm gonna see if I'm saying this right, and you all keep me honest if I'm saying this right. So you have people that will actually go into a store and steal the gift cards from the gift card stations, right? And they jot down or they get the card numbers, and then somehow they put them back into the store, right? They package these things back up perfectly, and then a customer may go and purchase this card and they put whatever money on the card, and the the people who stole the original gift cards, they're taking that money off of that card. Like you're loading it thinking you're going to give someone a loaded gift card of 25, $50, while all the meanwhile someone stole that card previously and took the card information on there waiting for you to load it. So this has been like a new thing all of a sudden that we're hearing more about. So just be mindful when you are purchasing gift cards, or if you're able to do legitimately a digital e-card and send it directly to them. Just be careful. I guess this is just becoming a new scheme that they're attempting.
mhm.
I was just gonna say
But
I've not heard of that one before. I was just gonna ask what's some of like did they give any best practices on what to look for? I mean, does it look so real that you really can't tell?
I don't know. I was in the middle of getting dressed, Markeisha, and the Today Show was giving this. So,
Oh wow, okay.
I but I
I'm gonna
heard
have to
them when they
look
were
that up.
like, yeah. And so we have to kind of look it up. And I don't know. These days they have all the equipment of a lot of other businesses, what they will have, and if they like carefully peel back, I'm sure some some of these cards and then it just has the access code. A lot of them have stickers now to
Mhm.
reveal the security code or the access code, like you have your main barcode, and then
Right.
there's stickers. And so literally you can probably like just glue that sticker back on,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
use some kind of other adhesive to close up the cardboard piece, and then
I mean,
nobody would really pay attention to it too much. You
yeah.
probably, if you look at it close enough, you can probably recognize it's been tampered with. But and maybe one advice would be do not get a tampered package gift card because
Mhm.
it could have been it could have been tampered with someone being dishonest trying to do something. So
Mhm.
if the package doesn't look right, don't get it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that kind of remind me of like the QR code schemes that I was seeing a lot of, where they would put the sticker over top the QR code and make it seem like you're doing something that was legit on like on the actual website, and it was, putting your information in other places. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's wild. These fraudsters, just go get a real job.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay. Okay, sorry, Brendan. I went ahead and kind of
No,
like
no
put that
worries.
in, but I just wanted to make sure to make people aware of the new trend.
Of course. Yeah, I too heard that in passing. I don't remember what I was doing, but it was in passing. And I believe it has to do with that scratch off part. They're like replacing that. So I would say, yeah, just look at it, compare it with the other ones on the shelf and just like see if there any of them look different. Make sure they don't look like they've been tampered with.
Yeah.
Probably the best thing. But I'd go with the e-gift card instead too. Feel a lot safer.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one here is an oldie, the pop-up ads. So we don't see a lot of pop-up ads anymore, but if you ended up on a site that, might be a little sketchy, you might see more pop-up ads and things like that will try to get you for something again that's too good to be true. Stay away from those, right? You're not gonna get a gold bar for $1, so don't don't buy that. Just be careful with what's being offered to you, right? Um, Next up, we've got oh yeah, pickpockets, right? That's a classic way people steal it. It's up close and personal. If you're in a crowded space, people are gonna be trying to get your phone, get your wallet, and get anything they can from you that's gonna be worth it to them, right? So lots of things with your phone. We keep so much information on our phones nowadays that's like a gold mine for people with bad intentions. So staying away from those, and just making sure you have maybe pockets that zip up or zipping up your purse and everything when you're in a crowded space. Keep yourself a little more protected. After that, we've got like the in-store pickups or purchases, or if you're doing curbside orders. Then like a lot of times people will do that with stolen credit cards and things like that. So doing that with during curbside pickup, they're not really checking things as much. So people can be using your credit cards to order all sorts of things, and it's just making sure that if you check your statements and see that there was a purchase on there you didn't make, get on it right away, dispute it, make sure you get yourself close that card and get a new one before they charge any more on there. Okay. um, a lot of times they'll do little purchases just to see if they can buy anything, and then when they see that they can, they'll just run it up more and more. So especially with like your credit cards and your debit cards, making sure you keep that safe. uh, Third one here, we've got card skimmers, right? Um, I'd say safe tip, especially this time of the year. Every like we're looking to buy gifts for our family, and so are the scammers, right? So you you got to be really careful. Look at all the card machines you go on. I'd say tug on it and make sure that it's fully attached and that it's not just an extra piece. They're making them look a lot like the systems that are out there. So definitely be careful with that. I've seen videos where there was one inside of a gas station terminal with the like the cashier there, right? So you never know where you're going or what you're buying. Just be careful and tug on it, make sure that it's legit, right? 'Cause again, same thing. They're going to be stealing your card information with that, and then using that to buy stuff for themselves, or just continue with their nefarious activities. um, Sometimes it could even be little cameras. So they're not always going to be in the machine. It'll just be near the machine, watching you where you put your card in and the PIN number. So be on the lookout for that as well. All right. And then we've got gift card scams. So similar, that's kind of like what you're saying, Chris. There's a lot of different scams with the gift cards like that, where you're gonna have a card and there's not gonna be any money on it even after you just bought it. And that's to say that's one that, again, if you did get caught up in it, it could be a little harder to track, especially if you're buying a gift for somebody else. That by the time you give it to them and they open it up on Christmas, and by the time they get to use it, you might not know until then, right? So it's just being careful with those. Again, e-gift cards gonna be a better way, right? And then the last one, this creative one I haven't heard of before, but a fake offer for a letter from Santa to a child, right? So I guess the time around Christmas, where everybody's feeling heartfelt stories and things like that. But be really careful, there these letters from Santa campaign is just, or there's a campaign that the post office does. So make sure you're doing that with the post office instead of sending it out to somewhere that might be getting information from your kids and getting information of your house or your address, and a lot of different information that they can use to scam you later on in the future, right? So be careful with that as well when you're getting involved, getting your kids involved.
Not the kids,
Right.
man. Wow. That's cool. That's cool. Well, these were definitely some fantastic tips. I like how it was called the 12 scams of Christmas, right? So those are things that we definitely have to keep in mind while we're trying to create these personalized celebrations with people, right? And we have to understand that there are people out there intentionally and planning on how to, be the Grinch more than the Grinch, because the Grinch didn't even do all these things. But they are definitely trying to take away Christmas and benefit, not just Christmas, any holidays. I don't want to say just Christmas, any of the holidays during this time of year, because they know that people are distracted. There's a lot of traffic and people are in a rush, right? And so it kind of goes back to that, what you were saying, like being mindful about you don't get caught up in all those emotions, because we're either going to make the mistakes or we get caught off guard, and then other people may try to take advantage as well, and that can definitely cause some holiday slumps later on how to come come back. And then one other note of a tip, and then I'll just open it up to see if there's any questions or any other tips with the holidays. And we're talking about, a lot of people order online, and I think we've seen a lot of things that have happened in the news as far as now you have delivery drivers where they're being targeted, and stopping these truck drivers from getting out there to do their jobs and taking packages literally off their truck or taking the actual truck. They did say that, most of these companies like a UPS or FedEx or Amazon, they'll notify you and at least say, there's, something with your package, it might be delayed. So you do want to keep track of how you are doing your orders online. There could be a legitimate reason why it may be delayed, or if you need to cancel the order. So if you notice certain things that aren't meeting your delivery timelines, they're just saying just be mindful and check, because there could have been an incident really with the delivery, more so than before. We were, it was the big issue of packages being left on a porch or left outside, and someone, coming up to your porch and stealing a package. Now they're trying to take the whole truck, so we just have to, keep that in mind, and still, appreciate those people that are out there doing those type of jobs during this time of year. So not to try to bring us down, but as we take a look at those those scams, it's like, something else to kind of be mindful of what can happen with packages. And you might have only got that one gift that you wanted to get someone, so because you didn't want to get all of them, and something could have went, awry with that, right? Exactly. So I'll pause there. This was some good information. We got into our feelings. we we definitely got some great tips and things to think about, like with planning and realizing that We can be planful. And we can also make sure we're mindful about our emotions and don't get caught up in too much of the emotions and trying to, make a bigger gift that can cause bigger debt that you're paying off for the balance of the year, for several ways. So I'm going to pause here, and this is for anyone, any other tips or things like that we want to share or comments. Y'all ready to get shopping? I'm just kidding.
I haven't finished my shopping yet,
You
so
haven't finished your shopping
yeah.
yet.
I've been done.
Y'all
Everything has been wrapped except for two gifts.
brag. Okay.
I have to practice what I preach.
I know, you're right. You're right. I used to be like that. Sometimes life happens and then, you do the
Yeah.
best you can. Like you said, and some of those things that you said, I bet, like, hey, sorry, it's not going to be the same this year, or, sorry, no, this isn't going to get out the same time like how I normally would. I think people are definitely more understanding. Talana, I see that you're still on. Any questions for our guests or any thoughts?
Yeah, I do have one. Did you say that like for me, like I'm not doing a lot of shopping because of my budget, and then like for my niece was like the most important. She's 14 and her first time. I mean, like she just went to high school. But for me, I did shopping for her Black Friday shopping, and to me, I think I got the best deal because she's into like the name brand and my budget is like not the greatest, but I got a good deal for Black Friday. I did like Uggs. They had a great deal. I did like pajama set, $25 for her on Black Friday. This is an UGG website. And then I did like a robe, it was $25. And then I did slippers. It was like $69. So I got a great deal for her for Black Friday. Did you mention that and then it was like free shipping? But to me, that was like the best deal is shopping online as opposed to like shopping, like going in person because it's like free delivery and it's like, and then like extra, I mean, like that extra savings. So didn't you mention that like online shopping is not like the best thing to do?
Well, for me, I did most of my shopping online, but I went to like the actual stores like the Kohl's of the world. I did a lot of Amazon Prime, and let me tell you something. You're right on with the free shipping. If I can't get free shipping, I ain't buying it. I refuse to pay for shipping unless it's a
Absolutely.
do or die, and and I haven't found a do or die yet. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, if you know that that particular uh, item that you want normally goes for $50 and you're getting it for $25, hell yeah, you got a good deal. Um, but if normally it's that price, and I think that's what Brendan was saying, but they're making it sound and gussing it up, because it's Black Friday, then you really didn't get a good deal. But if you've done your comparison shopping and you know that that particular item usually costs more and you're getting it for less on Black Friday and you're getting that free shipping, girl, then kudos to you.
Yeah, Brendan,
Okay,
you had
thank
any?
you.
That was a good question. Brendan, you had anything to add to that?
Of course, yeah. I mean, if you're getting a good deal, you can get a good deal, right? It's not that there's no good deals on Black Friday, but there's a lot of times where like some of the bigger ticket items, like I know a lot of it's with like TVs and other things like that, where they say they're on sale, but it's been that same price like the past month, or right, or it's been that same price for a longer time than just a Black Friday discount. They just change the little markers that show you how much of a discount it is. It looks like it's more, but yeah, if you know you're getting a good deal, then great, go for it. By all means, if that's what's going to work for you. but just be careful for those other things where, if it's something you're looking at for a while and you see that it's been that same price, and you see when Black Friday comes around it's still that same price, you don't have to buy it just because it's Black Friday and it's discounted, right? Because you already know that it's been that price, and after Black Friday it's still going to be that price, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And that's some of that planning where that kind of comes in place, right? So like, making your lists, we had lists come up, a lot, right? And trying to get further out and making your list so then you can start to do some comparison shopping and start to see those prices. And the free shipping is definitely a nice bonus, right? There's sometimes you may see that it's an incredible deal, and then they're like, oh, but there's shipping, and then the shipping costs just almost as much as the item that you're buying. It's like, okay, this is nuts, nuts. So keeping an eye on that. But then also, here's another tip. I think I watch too much like documentaries. I think that's part of my problem. But anyhow, I digress. They said that watch with some of the free shipping because businesses are losing a lot of money. They did it to get through the pandemic, right? To get people to buy more. And they're starting to realize how much this is costing them on their lines, right? So you may get on the front end free shipping, but if you do a return, it may cost you. You may have to pay for the shipping. So it's good to, if it's something that that I don't know if I'm gonna like it, when it gets here, or I may need to I may need to exchange it or whatever. Make sure you read what the policies are saying about returns because they are gradually going to start to change. And maybe through this holiday season, they'll give us a grace period. But I promise you, and I started seeing some of it too. I'm an online shopper where, okay, you know what, this didn't fit right, or I didn't like, it wasn't quite what I expected. And they're like, yeah, sure, you can return it. Okay, so here's the price. Oh, yeah, we're going to deduct how much the shipping is going to cost. And
Yeah.
so then your return isn't, what you actually did your purchase. So just make sure you keep checking, even when they say free shipping, what the
Yeah.
return policy
Free
is.
shipping and
Yeah,
returns. Free
Yep.
shipping and returns.
and you know what? You're right. And then they also charge a restocking fee too. You got to
Hmm.
be mindful of that. Some
Yeah,
places.
they have to figure out how they can make their money after a while, and so it was great, during those pandemic times, and all that free shipping, because it wasn't that much free shipping a few years ago. And then it was like everybody realized that businesses like, oh, we can get more people to buy if we offer free shipping. But then after a while the shipping costs went up. So, they got to figure out a way to make their money. So, yeah, definitely what you say of it, the return policy and there was one more you said.
Yeah, free shipping with free returns
Okay.
um,
Yep.
is what I always look for because you're
Hmm.
right. They can say free shipping, but if you don't read the little small print, they'll charge you for that for the returns.
Yeah.
Free shipping doesn't mean free returns unless it states it.
Right. That's a good tip. Good tip. Anything else? Talana, you had any other questions or comments? I think we
No,
lost Sheena.
no.
Okay.
Thank you so much. No.
Well, this was awesome. I definitely think that this is definitely going to be some topics we're going to talk again for the next holidays, right? Because, like I said, they show up on the calendar basically around the same time. And we all, a lot of us say, what do you mean? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think you had it, Brendan, in the deck. It's the holidays. What do you mean? It's the same time every year, right? But life happens. Emotions get caught up with how we want to make the most perfect holiday. And sometimes the most perfect holiday is really just expressing our love, whether it be in a poem like Brendan had. But Brendan, don't you do that for every occasion. I'm just,
That I know.
maybe it's a part of it, but you don't have to go broke, right, to get through this. And there's times when we do get caught up. Get savvy with how do you course correct, so then you're not paying Christmas into July of the next year or to the next holiday. for that, because I think Markeisha, you mentioned how some people, they all of a sudden they can have some savings, but then they just been spending their credit cards, buying all different kind of things. The next thing you know, they need a loan by January or February, and we don't want to be like that. So, well, I'm not going to keep you all. We'll give you back the gift of 5 minutes on the call. Thank you so much, Yvette. Thank you for all the realism and the emotions that we feel around that holiday spending and tips, right? You kept it real. Markeisha and Brenda, thank you for all those tips as well, along with some of those savvy things that we can do with even if it's a credit card that we use for our daily purchases and how we get rewarded, to the 12 scams of Christmas. And we threw in a few more ourselves. We may have to create a list
Thank you.
to
Very
Thank you,
help.
great
everyone. I
presentation.
really
Yeah.
appreciate all the tips and all the, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank
Solana.
you.
Merry Christmas to
Thank you.
All
everyone.
right. Merry
Thank
Merry
Christmas and
Thank
Christmas.
happy
you.
holidays, everyone. Take
Thank
care.
you,
Adios.
everyone. And thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.